Hi, my name is Melissa Barnett, and this is my presentation on digital information and technology, safety ethics, and legal use in the 21st century. Cyber safety is very important. We all live in the ever-changing digital society, but the question is, are you safe? Is your information safe? Do you keep up with the changes in laws and rules and remain aware of the risks that are involved with being a technology user? There are so many risks involved with being a user, and of course with the changes, you've got to keep up with those risks. Safety is the condition of being safe from undergoing injury or loss. Privacy policy. We have all surely heard of privacy policy, but do we really understand what it means? How am I protected with a privacy policy? A privacy policy is put in place on a website, and it protects how and what type of information can be collected and stored when you visit that website. Now, some people get this confused with disclaimer. Privacy policy versus disclaimer are two different things. So with a disclaimer, how am I protected? A disclaimer protects a user from having their information shared without being authorized. So privacy policy is going to protect your information. A disclaimer is going to protect how that information is shared. The risks. Just how safe are you? There are so many risks involved, as I said earlier. There are viruses, there are threats, there are hackers, there are phishers, there are scammers. There's just so many different things that you have to be concerned with when you're going to be on technology. So you've got to be very smart, a smart user when you're using technology. With online users comes the risk of spammers, which are often in the form of unsolicited emails that have accessed your information. I'm sure many of us have seen that we have the junk mail folder in our email that's mostly spam, which is just unnecessary, not needed emails that get sent. Somehow they've accessed our information, our email address, and they just continue sending them. If you happen to open one of those, the connection gets back to that place that sent those, that you opened that, which is going to bring on more spam mail. Cyber stalking, which is when one is being stalked using online tools and the stalker is gathering information. Phishing is where one acquires information such as usernames and passwords, and that is for malicious reasons. And this is just a few of the risks involved with technology. But when dealing with actual websites, there's a risk of malware, which is a form of software that disrupts a user's technology operation and allows access to all of your information. Viruses, which I'm sure we've all heard of viruses, are replicated programs that cause harm and damage to a technological device. So this virus can completely take over your computer. You can lose all your information. They can access your information that you have stored on your computer. So these are very serious risks involved with technology. Safety in the classroom. How does all this pertain to keeping your classroom safe with technology? Because in the classroom in the 21st century, technology is just being required more and more. We're moving away from textbooks, and we're moving away from paper and pencil assignments. We're moving on to technology, online learning environments, trying to get the students more technology advanced, because that's how it's going to be when they're out in the real world. So safety in the classroom. Children are naturally curious and are at target for sexual solicitations, cyberbullying, and viewing inappropriate content, as well as many other appropriate risks. Children are also at risk for having their information and picture posted online by someone other than themselves, which affects their safety. As an educator, I believe it's very important to know that you need to protect your students' privacy, their identity, and I know Facebook has become a really big thing, and having Facebook pages for classrooms, but I really feel we need to be really careful with what we do post, because anybody can get that information and do whatever they want to do with it. Cyberbullying is a very, very serious issue. It's just something that we need to be aware of, and it's happening. Sexual solicitations very serious. It's happening. It's happening all over. So as an educator, you need to make sure that you know what your children are doing on technology in your classroom, and you remind them of the rules and procedures put in place for using that technology. Having a classroom policy put in place to be used daily is very extremely important. This says think and then click, and I really like this because it's very simple for kids to remember. Think and then click. We ask permission before we use the internet. We only use websites that the teacher has chosen. That's very important. We immediately close any web page that we don't like. We only email people or our teacher has approved. We send emails that are polite and friendly. We never ever give out a home address or phone number. With younger children, this is something very, very important to stress, because they get so excited when they learn their address or their phone number that they like to share that. So it's very important that they understand that. We never arrange to meet anyone we don't know. We never open emails sent by anyone we don't know. We never use internet chat rooms. And we tell the teacher if we see anything we are unhappy with. As an educator, you need to be willing to understand that children are going to come to you with petty little stuff that they're seeing that maybe, isn't a big deal, but you still need to show that that's important and that you care, because when they bring the big things to you, you're going to need to be able to handle those as well. So we don't want to shy children away from sharing information with us that they see or something that they've come across, because all of it is important. Legal use. This is conforming to or permitted by law. There's two of them that you've probably heard of. One of them is copyright, one of them is fair use. I'm going to go through here and tell you a little bit about the differences between them. It is a very fine line, so a lot of people get these two mixed up. Students need to be taught the differences among technology, laws, and rules. Copyright. Legal rights that are granted to an author or creator of original work. These are the rights to copy, adapt, distribute, or amend the work. Fair use. The right to use copyrighted materials without permission under specific circumstances. And there's 4 rules that could apply to fair use. The character and the purpose of the use, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount and substantiality used, and the effect on the potential market. So just think, every song, every graphic, every photograph, video, quote, blog post, and article, everything every time was created by someone. There's an original author, creator out there who has put forth the effort to create that work, and they deserve the credit. If you copy it and you don't give them credit, that's considered stealing. Ethics. Do you have ethics as a technology user? Ethics is doing what is good or right. Morals, same thing. Using your gut instinct, following your heart, knowing that what you're doing is something you should be or something you shouldn't be doing. Treating others how you want to be treated not only applies to the physical world, but it applies to the digital world as well. Having policies in place from the beginning is important. Referring to them often is extremely important. So before you post, think. T, is it true? H, is it hurtful? I, is it illegal? N, is it necessary? And K, is it kind? This goes in with treating others how you want to be treated in the digital world. And thank you for your time.